Yeah, that was awesome. Great rundown, Marco. So I'll get right into it. Again, I would love to pull someone from the audience to get started, but I'll basically go through a quick rundown of what you could expect from the platform. So, Philip, if you'd like, I was going to pick you as someone we can basically get you as essentially as a guinea pig, if you want to call it, or a lab rat, and you can sign up, and we'll get you free access, premium access as well, that you can see how it works. But I'll go in real time and show how it works with my own account that I created. Sorry, Phil, did you want to say something? Love it, love it, love it. Love it. Yeah, no, we're excited for her to check it out and get her opinion as well and her feedback. So we'll go right into it. So Philip, once we get closer to getting you set up as well, this is what you can expect. First thing that you would get is essentially introduced to this onboarding workflow. This workflow essentially gets all the information about you as a user, getting your founder's profile created, getting a better understanding of who you are, where your stages, what stage you're at in your entrepreneurial journey. So that'll also help our AI better understand what ideas to prefer to you. If you already have an idea or a business that you want to start, it provides a better understanding for how we can tailor the experience for you. So you'll get onboarded here where you see start your journey. You'll begin the questionnaire. Depending on where you're at in your entrepreneur journey, whether you already have an idea or not, you would select that path that you would like to go on. So in this case, we'll say that we don't have an idea. You'll click that option, and then you start answering these questions as best as you can, which best fits your situation. So we see here what makes you feel successful in 12 months from now. What does that success rate look like? So we have different options that fit best your situation. So it's replacing my current income. It's making consistent side income. It's proving I can build something real, gaining valuable skills. All of these key drop downs. This depends on what best fits your situation. So for me, for this example, I'll say having more flexibility or control over my time. Um, for example's sake, I'll say gaining valuable skills or leverage. And for one last one, again, it's not an amount necessary. You can put three, you can put four, you could put one, just depends on your situation. But for this example, I'll say replacing my current income, gaining valuable skills, and having more flexibility over my time. Then the next question you'll be introduced to is when things get hard, what usually keeps you going, right? Depending on these drop downs, for this example, I'll say financial results. How much financial runway do you currently have for building this? So runway simply means how much money do you have available for you to keep running your business. So if you have 20,000 in the bank, how much money are you spending every month to um, you know how much are you spending every month to run that business? If you don't have a business already, okay, great. How much do you anticipate that will cost you on a month to month basis? If you have $20,000, okay, great. Ideally, that would probably take you between 0 to 3 months, maybe 0 to 6 months, depending on what your business is. But again, if you don't know the answer to this, again, you can answer it to the best of your ability. You can say zero. So in this case, we'll say zero runway, I don't know, or whatever the case may be. How dependent are you on this becoming income? How much are you depending on this becoming income generating for your business? Let's say medium income pressure. In that case, you can sell like basically how dependent are you on this company and generating income. Some people are solely dependent on this. You don't have a job, so this is like this is how you're gonna make money. So in this example, we'll say medium. What best describes your background? For this example, we'll say a creative or a generalist. But for this example, we'll say I'm more creative. Um, have you ever worked in a specific industry for more than 1 year? So tech, healthcare, finance. For this example, we can say fitness. For the example, we can say real estate. If any of these drop downs don't apply to you, again, you can just click other. But for this example, we'll say real estate and fitness. From there, what are you unusually good at? Let's say sales, communication. Um, let's say designing clothes. Let's say this for this example. Which of these have you done before, even if formally? We can say taught or explained something to others, sold a product, built a tool. Again, whatever applies to your situation. For this one, we'll say sold a product, solved the same niche problem repeatedly. Again, whatever applies to your situation. How do you prefer to work? Um, I would say alone, but again, most people like working with a small team, leading others. For me, I'll say I like working alone. Which sounds more like you? I like building systems. I like talking to people. I like selling. For this example, I'll say I like creating content. Which feels more energizing right now? Learning, researching, shipping something small, talking to real users or customers, making money quickly. So again, I'll just choose whatever, shipping something real. Risk tolerance. For me, I'll say high. Um, which types of work drains you the fastest? I would say customer support. What topics do you naturally enjoy learning about? History, politics, and we'll say business. What problems do you notice people complain about often? Um, I don't know, for example, we can say door to door sales agents. We all hate door to door sales agents, so we can put that one there. What's something that personally frustrates you on a day to day basis? Obviously, there's YouTube ads, but I'll say I hate, sorry, there's YouTube premium, but I'll say that I hate ads on YouTube, even though you can just pay the premium to get rid of them. But I'll say that I hate ads when watching videos on YouTube. That's one. How much time can you realistically commit per week? Most people can probably commit less than 5 hours per business based on our studies. So we can say, to be the average sake, we can say 5 to 10 hours a week. What's your primary goal? Generates income. What matters more to you right now? We could say speed. Do you need to make money soon? Let's say in the next 6 months, which is typical. How much clients, customers, interactions do you want weekly? We can say, somewhat often. How do you feel about complexity right now? Some complexity is fine. How are you feeling about something right now? Excited. So let's see what it pops up. So now you'll see that the founder's profile was created. So through that entire pretty long assessment that I just went through, now the AI just put together a founder's profile. So now I'm considered an operator. So if you're someone that you've worked a job before or had some experience in the corporate world, usually before you get a job, they create you a personality profile to understand how they can best fit you in the corporation, in the company or whatnot. So this is kind of similar that we tried to do is the AI is going to create a profile for you to identify, okay, what type of founder are you? So through that assessment, the AI identified that I'm considered an operator type founder. So this data is pretty thorough. This is pretty good for me as well. Let's say I'm a first time founder. I don't really know about business. This is great for me to export and I can save this in my files. It's even good for, first time founder to get a good idea of like what type of founder am I. And we're going to improve this over time. You'll see how we'll probably invest more in gamification where we'll say I'm an operator like, different operators right now. A popular operator would be like Tim Cook. So you'll be like, hey, if I'm a first time founder, what does an operator look like in the real world? Most operators would be, someone's famous that we can consider yourself similar to as Tim Cook or, different operators in the Fortune 500 world and stuff like that to create it more gamified. But again, this is pretty good information for you to look at. Gives you a good idea of who you are as a founder, how to position yourself, what are your blind spots, what are your strengths. So all this information is clean and pretty thorough for anyone that wants that type of strong info. Once you have that a good idea and you have that profile created for you, you now move on to now ideas that are matched to you. So this is really our key feature that we offer. Now that we have identified who your profile is, we'll match you with ideas that best fit your profile. So you'll see a bunch of ideas here. That match again the profile that I created, and it provides you a score as well. So based off that score, it'll give me the scorecard on how relevant and how close this idea is to my founder's profile. So depending on these ideas, whatever idea I feel best, I can just press view report. You see here, there's a scorecard, strong fit. How is the scorecard determined? You can see um, how it's weighed. What are the factors and categories are weighed to provide the score over on exactly why this idea fits best for you. And again, all this information is pretty clean for you to export as well. So if you're a first-time founder and in that early stage, you would love to get this type of info not only matched to you ideas. Let's say you're just looking for ideas rather than just going to ChatGPT. ChatGPT just throw you a bunch of ideas. You create a profile, understand who you are as a founder, and the AI will match you ideas that match that profile itself. You choose which idea you like I just showed you. And if let's say I'm happy with creating a tool that helps coaching for entrepreneurs, great. I deep dive into it. Again, it can provide you an overall score on what to expect and also provide you next steps. So great, I want to start this business. This is what you can expect as next steps as well. Um, Again, all this info you can export. So again, it's all pretty thorough, provides you a good snapshot on what to expect next and gives you a scorecard and why this is a good business for you to start and all that good stuff. And the last thing here is, which is also a great tool that we've created, is also a goal setter. So now that you chose the idea that you want, you created your profile, you know what to expect next. I want to make $500 per customer. How do I achieve that, right? Or what's my goal that I'm looking to achieve with this business? You can put that in there. So let's say I want to make, $10,000, per month or whatever that number looks like. Um, the AI puts that numbers together and gives you a real thorough analysis on how can you achieve this per customer. What are the goals that you need to achieve? What are the milestones and stuff like that? And this is all something that you can export. So yeah, this is pretty clean as an onboarding workflow. This is what you can expect as a customer. Um, and yeah, you can put yourself in the customer's shoes, how important this could be, and even yourself. Once you actually go through the process, you could see how much this could be valuable for you. So um, then you just get right into the app. You'll see that our dashboard is pretty clean. We'll go into that in detail, how that experience will look like, but I want to stop there. Philip or anyone in the call, if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to chime in, or anything that you wanted me to discuss a bit more in detail, feel free, and we'll go from there. Yeah, so right now it provides you just basically an overall snapshot on what to expect in starting that business. Not into detail. That's something that you can expect in phase two. So we do have a more in-depth module where we go into the go-to-market strategy, your TAM, also validating your idea in general. So we go a bit deeper inside the app, but the whole goal of that onboarding workflow is to just give you a general snapshot on what to expect and a good score on how strong this business could be. And then from there, we'll be able to provide you more deeper information within the app. So it's not meant to provide too much detail, but enough for you to make a decision whether I want to start this business or not. And then from there, we'll support you on the deeper info. Does that answer your question? Yep. Yeah, so we do have an onboarding workflow where, again, you can choose which workflow you want to get into. So for this example, I put in that I don't have an idea, but let's say you do have an idea, then we have a specific workflow for that. So you would follow through and through there. So rather than us suggesting new ideas, we'll go right into providing you a report on exactly how valuable that idea is. So it just depends on what side of the L you basically start off on. That's why that first question is really key for us to identify before really basically throwing you in the wild, right? So I think someone had a question. If you want to hop off mute. Oh, I don't think someone had a question. Or let's see here. Yep, no worries. Okay, so we'll go right into the dashboard. So why don't we do this, Philip? Why don't we get you to log in, create an account, um, and if you'd like, we can actually go into exactly how each workflow works. I can go through it as well on my side. I want to make it interactive a bit as well. So I can show you here how it works. Again, it's pretty quick. You'll just go through fairly different prompts that the AI will get you go through. And then module 5 is essentially where you'll be able to now generate a document for your business. So business plan, marketing plan, a pitch deck, and all that good stuff. Just for time's sake, would you be able to do all of that right now, Philip, or should we just do it over the call and maybe you can do it on your own time? What do you think is best? Sure. So maybe for time's sake, you can do it on your own time. But let's say for this example, I can just type in the answers for you. So if you're looking at my screen, once you actually log in, Philip, you'll get onboarded into basically module 1. So this is the business model canvas. You worked with startups, so you know how key this step is. So the first question, at least at this stage, the AI already knows what business you're starting, especially depending on what flow you work in. But even then, the AI knows that, let's say for this example, Philip wants to start a software company in Texas. Okay, great. Now let's put your idea a little bit more formulated. So if you look at my screen, you'll see that you'll be greeted with this first question. You're starting from the Explorer mode, which is great. Based off your background and interest, what kinds of problems do you keep noticing people complain about in real life or at work? How would you answer that if, let's say, you were in my shoes or in my position right now, Philip? Gotcha. Or software correctly. So you just plug that in there. The AI is going to analyze it. I hear you, and it's great that you're addressing the issue of AI integration. However, have you considered that the problem might lie in the compatibility of AI with the specific apps and software it's interacting with? It's essential to ensure your AI is adaptable and can seamlessly integrate with various platforms to provide a smooth user experience. Who do you believe will benefit the most from your idea, and why them specifically? Got it. Got you. Got it. So plug that in there. You've identified a gap in the market and an opportunity to bring AI to the service industry, which is a brilliant start. However, it's crucial to remember that AI is a tool, and like any tool, its effectiveness depends on how it's used. The key challenge here is not just about implementing AI, but about understanding how to integrate it in seamlessly into your service offerings. Blah blah blah. How are people currently dealing with this problem, and what gaps still remain in existing solutions? Great points, Philip. Let's put that in there. Um, okay. In one or two sentences, describe how your solution works to address that problem. Awesome. What makes your approach or offerings unique compared to others trying to solve the same issue? And which is great about our AI, even if you don't have the answers, that's fine. Our tool will do that logic for you. So it just wants to understand how are you thinking, and maybe if you don't have the answers, if you do, you'll be able to refine it or add on if necessary. Yep. So the key here is not to be, super, I guess, clear with your answers. Is answer to your best of your ability and our logic, and that's the way AI is supposed to be made for. It'll do the rest for you. Here. Okay, what values or principles guide how you want your idea or organization to operate? What values or principles guide how you want your ideas or organization to operate? Awesome. So, what long-term impact do you want your idea or business to have on its users or community? These are all great questions. Answers, sorry. Questions too. AI is doing a good job. If your idea succeeds, what would success look like 1 year and 5 years from now? What's the biggest challenge or risk you foresee in bringing this idea to life? All right, and you have just completed module 1, so it's pretty straightforward. Again, we just basically put together your business model canvas. You're able to also extract this document. So if you want to, extract all the responses you put out or get a summary of this conversation, the AI can do that for you as well. But if you're all good, you just move on to modules 2. Again, the whole goal here, Philip, is the AI is just taking all the information from you, but the ultimate goal for module 5 to put the document for you together. So you're just putting all the information, feeding the AIs as much information possible. Again, if you want a summary of this conversation, you can just download it into your files. If not, you just move on to the next step, and essentially repeats itself. But now we just identified your business model canvas. Now this is more centered towards, identify your customer profile, your ICP, your market analysis, your TAM, all that good stuff. So we'll do this very quickly. I would love for you to just try it out yourself, Philip. You'll see that it'll go through the process pretty similarly and smoothly the way I just showed you. And then once you reach module 5, essentially you'll be able to generate a business document, a business plan, pitch deck, etc. And yeah, you basically just have your documents created, you download it, and then you move on to stage 2, start registering your business, and we also have different steps as well. So I guess you get the gist of it, I guess how it would work. We'd love to hear if you have any questions or feedback on what you just saw. But also, again, we're open to also hearing your next feedback for the next call that we have. So I'll stop there. Any questions, and then I'll pass it over to you, Marco. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So we'll talk a bit more, Philip, on how we can work together. But love to hear more feedback once you actually play around with the app, and we'll go from there. Marco, I'll pass it over to you. I know you have to run soon, but yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So that ends it for us. Again, this is gonna be fun. We'll do this more often. Some people were able to make it, some people weren't, but this is great. Again, we'll be posting this online, so we'll be doing this at least once every 2 weeks. So Philip, if you want to share it to friends and family, if they can also join, and we can do a quick demo with them as well, they can see the experience, and we're always improving the app as well. So we can also get them, first access to new features that we're launching and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a bit about us, Philip, and whoever joined as well. We're happy that you guys were able to join. Awesome. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much, guys. You guys have a great night, and then yeah, hope you guys see you guys at the next event. Thank you, Marco. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks, guys. All right. All right. Bye.